Hello, everybody. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I learned something new last night on Facebook. A Facebook friend told me that in the Manson murders that they cut the phone lines, and I thought that was really interesting because that's the same thing that happened at my home right here. Is they cut my phone lines before they shot me, and you know, and I'll make it clear that I worked in communications. To say cut the phone lines, it doesn't always mean that you take a knife and you cut a line. You know, I mean, you might be a screwdriver and you unscrew a screw and you disconnect, or a car runs to a telephone pole and cuts the communications to the city. And that don't mean they actually cut a line when the car ran into the pole. It just got that's just a slang. Cut the communication, cut the line. They disconnected the line. So, anyways, Manson Murders. So I did a Facebook post called "Comparison to Manson Murders." And I went and Googled it, to verify it and make sure that's what was going on. Here's a picture of Manson right here. Classifications, murder. That's what we're looking at. Cult leader, very famous, right? And he believed was prophesied in the Beatles song "Helter Skelter." Okay, and date of murders was August 1969. Arrested October 12th, 1969. Location California, and sentenced to death. It was commuted to a life sentence. Okay, and so. Here's the victims there, and one of them was a very famous actress right there, Sharon Tate, upcoming. That was Polanski, but there was also other crime victims. There, Abigail Ann Folger. That was somebody. That was a person with the Folger, coffee fortune. I mean, just super wealthy people there. Tells where it was, 150 Cielo Drive, West Los Angeles, etc. But here, when I found it, this is on the first homicide investigation progress report, and here I just highlighted this one part. It said sometime after midnight, August 9th, 1969, unknown suspects entered Cielo property via the front gate, which is operated by an electronic push button. They can be operated from the outside. From this point, the three possible theories which have been reached by analyzing the physical evidence. The first theory is that the killers climbed a telephone pole located just north of the above electronic button which operates the gate, and the phone wire at the top of the pole had been cut in such a manner that it stopped phone service to the Cielo property. Okay, so that was the physical evidence that they found that they were talking about. These killers cut the phone lines before they killed them, and so it was no doubt that it was premeditated. They went to that home to kill them. They didn't accidentally go to that home and accidentally kill them. It was on purpose, premeditation, And so here, let me start in here on this Facebook post, and I just broke it down to paragraphs here. I said, this was the reason. Here, let me read my first two paragraphs. In the first homicide investigation progress report for the Manson murders, it was noted the phone wire at the top of the pole had been cut in such a manner it stopped phone service to the Cielo property. This is interesting because prior to me being shot by surprise inside my own home, my cell phone was stolen, my home phone lines were disconnected or cut, and the security camera in my bedroom was terminated. Okay, and then I'll break down here in the comments. I said, this was the reason I didn't call for help and was forced to crawl out on my hands and knees. The people that shot me, planned on me bleeding out and dying. This was premeditated, cold-blooded murder, and a miracle that I survived, So I put this little GIF file, shows me crawling out minutes. And the reason I crawled out is because I had no communications. I was forced to crawl out, There was no other choice. The other things I've had people ask me before, why didn't they shoot you twice? If they come to your house to kill you, the reason they didn't shoot me twice is because they were trying to make this look like an accident. That added $500,000 to the life insurance policy. My life insurance booklets had just been taken by the ex-wife a couple of weeks earlier. It showed I had an accidental death policy. Also, then there's not an investigation for a capital attempted murder, and nobody goes to prison. So they make it look like an accident. That's why they didn't shoot me twice. And then the other thing is, why did they shoot you with a Glazier safety slug, a plastic tip pellet filled bullet? So they could make it look like I was shot with my gun, and that way they could rule my murder an accident and get that $500,000. Okay, and so moving on to this next one, I said, when I returned from the hospital 10 days later and then crippled for life, my home phone had been reconnected, my cell phone had been planted behind my nightstand, and the bedroom security camera was accidentally restarted by police at 3:15 a.m. that night when they rebooted my computer. This is an evidence file I found. And I'm a computer guy, I'm an IT guy, a tech guy. And so this is the Windows event system log, okay? And I went looking at the log files to see what happened when I got home. This is what Microsoft techs do. I'm a Microsoft certified system engineer. So I went looked, and what I found is it's time stamped right here at 3:15 a.m. in the morning. I'm shot at 10:42, seen crawling out. That's what I'm saying, crawling out, okay? And it tells me the event was a user-initiated log-off. Okay, so it was on purpose. And what this was somebody manually rebooted the computer. Minutes later, we start seeing pictures of the secret police, which took 6 years to get identified, okay? They didn't know they got caught on camera. When they rebooted my computer, it started that camera without them knowing it. Because once again, I'm an IT guy, and I had that camera to automatically restart on reboot. And what I believe happened is they saw the camera and they thought, oh, we don't want to be caught on camera covering up this murder attempt. Let's reboot that computer. And so they rebooted the computer thinking they were going to stop the camera, and they started the camera, okay? So that's really what happened. And so at 3:15 a.m. is where they, rebooted my computer and started the camera back working. Okay, it had been shut down. I'm gonna show you here at 8:08. According to the camera log files, okay, because the camera keeps log files. Once again, I'm a tech guy, right? I went looking for this evidence. My bedroom security camera had been terminated at 8:08 p.m. and I was seen crawling out at 10:42 p.m. a few minutes after being shot. This camera was restarted a few hours later at 3:15 a.m. We just saw that when the police rebooted my computer. Okay, so here on the log files, and this is the YawCam log file. This is software that was running the security camera. It's basically a web camera connected to my computer that's motion activated, and it takes still pictures based on motion. It has configuration parameters, like I could set it up to run on reboot, and which I did, okay? And so it started the day here, this is the day, just another day, not knowing that criminals were going to come to my house and try to murder me, We didn't know the Manson gang was going to come over and climb the pole and disconnect phone lines or whatever, right? And so here, 10:52, YawCam started. I turned on my computer, okay? And it automatically started, okay? At that night, at 20:08, okay, at 10:08, the YawCam terminated. Okay, that's not 10:08, 8:08, I'm sorry. 8:08, YawCam terminated, okay? And it was military time. And so camera mysteriously turned off at 8:08, terminate. I didn't do that, okay? I believe this was done in preparation to kill me. That's when they were stealing my cell phone and disconnected my home phone lines. And it was about an hour and a half before they shot me by surprise, okay? And then at 22:42, I'm seen crawling out after being shot by surprise at 10:42. So 8:08, my YawCam's terminated. And then for the next day, which is later that night, on the 29th, that night when the police were here, YawCam started. Well, remember at 3:15, my computer was rebooted. That's what started the camera. The police started, and that's what I said a minute ago. The police started the security camera and not knowing it. They caught themselves is what happened, And then I've got it here that the first timestamp for seeing a picture of the sick police was 3:36. Of course, it was 6 years later before we could figure out who it was, And that's really what messed them up, because they were withholding that police report. They were going to have, nobody was ever going to find out they were in my house, stealing evidence, staging the crime scene, planting evidence, covering, pouring concrete, all that stuff, covering up the trapdoor and all that. Nobody's going to know. They're going to come back 3 days later and like it was their first, going to start the investigation on February 1st. That was the plan. This right here, it was a con job is what it was. Okay. I want to show you my next comment is this was the last picture of me before I was shot by surprise and was taken minutes before my bedroom camera was terminated in preparation to kill me. I had a shotgun. I had burglar alarms going off in my attic over and over. What I didn't know at this time, I had tie wired my spare door shut. I'd recognized somebody had been in my house, come home from the grocery store, recognized somebody had been in my house once again. I had been reporting repeated burglaries to the police for over a year. And not knowing the police were working with the burglars that were breaking in my house. And then when I tie wired that door, I trapped one of them burglars in my guest bathroom and I didn't know it. Okay. And so here they are. They got a secret police murder gang. They got the press to help them hide evidence and cover up crimes from the public, right? I mean, they've got technology and cameras and $1 million underground homes. And this piece of tie wire trapped one of these criminals in my home. And I have every right in the world to protect my life and property. It's a dire situation for these advanced criminals, right? That are planning the murder of innocent homeowners. And, it really is. I mean, that's all there is. I'm on the other side of the door with a gun, right? Burglar alarms going off into my attic. I'm thinking maybe they were setting off the burglar alarms, trying to get me to go up in the attic so they could come in the trap door and let the trap burglar out. I don't know, And maybe they were setting, I just know that the burglar alarm's going off on the road, and I didn't go chase the alarm. I didn't go up there, okay? But anyway, last picture of me, and it's time-stamped here at 8:07 and 8:08, that camera was terminated. And at 10:42, I'm crawling out, okay, with my phone lines cut. Okay. But keep in mind, at that time, it was a trapped burglar. Okay. This attempt to stop the camera started without them knowing it, and this is what gave me the pictures of the secret police in my bedroom staging the crime scene. They never planned on anybody knowing they were there, as they were illegally withholding the police report, okay? And the one picture I put up here shows the picture of the Midland K9 police officer, okay, one of the secret police pictures. This is the guy that goes on to murder his wife and kill himself. And a lot of people asking, if he'd been arrested for being inside your house, staging the crime scene, would Sandra Simpson be alive? I'm going, I think she would. I think them two little babies wouldn't be orphans, That would have happened if it wasn't for the obstruction of justice that's going on, to cover up these violent crimes against innocent homeowners. And so I'm just going to run through. I uploaded these the pictures. Remember, they're still pictures from that security camera, and I'll show you. And they're all time stamped. You can look at them here. We're going to go through them kind of fast. That was Rosie Rodriguez, if you've seen it. There's the Chad Simpson, the Midland K9 police officer, the guy that murdered his wife. Okay, here's some more. Okay. Now, see, I don't know if all of these guys were involved in this premeditated capital attempted murder, or if it just some of them, they were being conned by people like Rosie Rodriguez and Dickie and all them, I mean, we know 5 of them were under my home, and maybe they were, because it just makes sense that they probably know about $1 million underground home that was hosting parties for international oil shows where they murdered little girls that won't prostitute, right? They probably know that, This guy, I always make a point of him. Look at him. He's just having a great old time. He think it's funny. It was the funniest murder he's ever been involved in, Okay, here we go. More. And there's a lot of stories here with evidence being stolen and different things. Of course, this is not. I've got different videos about the secret police and pictures of the secret police there. There's April Chandler right there, got her hand in the booty bag. That's what I call it, a booty bag, because there was evidence stolen. There was my spare shotgun shells were stolen, and there was a reason they were stolen. There's a better picture, April Chandler. That was one of the people that we could recognize, There was 2 of them, April Chandler and Rosie Rodriguez, that we knew who they were, okay? And let me pause this a minute. Okay, I'm back. Okay. And here's a picture of Rosie Rodriguez, the detective. I just recently made a video about her, of all the lies she's told, and and incredible. This here is April Chandler. She's searching my drawers, and that's kind of interesting, because when they come back in 3 days later for what they planned on being the only known entry, them drawers were searched again. And I made the point, you don't have to search the same drawers twice, but nobody was supposed to know they were in the house. That was the thing. This is all secret, covert entry right here, covered up a premeditated capital attempted murder is what this was. One of those pictures shows Detective Rosie Rodriguez leaned over my nightstand where my stolen cell phone had been planted. She was standing there with Officer April Chandler, and based on the timestamps, it looks like they waited on the other police officers to leave my room before doing this. I would later see in the police reports that Detective Rosie Rodriguez wrote, Buddy said that his phone was not charged, and that is why he went outside and screamed for help. This was a lie, as I had never said that, and the truth was that I had my cordless phone in my pocket when I was shot, which was fully charged, as it sat on the charger all the time. I had it because my cell phone had been stolen. Okay, so she made up that lie. This come from the police report right there. Detective Rosie Rodriguez wrote, Buddy said his phone was not charged. And I read that, I'm going, I didn't say that. That's a lie. My phone was fully charged. Why did she write that lie? Well, the reason that she made that lie up is because she knew they had stolen my cell phone, cut my phone lines, and before they tried to murder me. That's why. And it was behind this nightstand. This is Rosie Rodriguez leaned over my nightstand when I returned from the hospital. That's where I found my stolen cell phone planted, was back there behind that nightstand. Okay, and then here's another picture of Rosie right here, just showing you that's how I know this person right here is Rosie Rodriguez. Okay, and there's the phone. I'm gonna pause that. Okay, I get spam calls on my home phone. I normally wouldn't carry that large phone, but I had burglar alarms going off in the attic over and over, as noted in the notes by the emergency room nurse. Rosie knew they had cut my phone lines, and that is why she made up the lie. She was excuse making. And when I'm saying, when she made up that lie saying, Buddy said his battery was dead on his phone, I'm going, no, I didn't. My battery was fully charged. Why did she make up that lie? Because she knew they stole my cell phone and cut my phone lines before shooting me by surprise. But the point I'm making is, these are the nurse's notes. ER nurse Cresswell wrote, and they're time-stamped at the hospital. Rosie Rodriguez is in the room when I'm talking, and the nurse is documenting what we're saying. Once again, that messed up these police, because it was going to be my word against their word, and there's a whole bunch of them, and he's crazy, he thinks people in the attic and all this, and they're hiding the fact that, there's homeowners all over the place reporting people in the attic. These crimes are widespread, or, organized crime, racketeering, and they're part of it, But here's some of the things I was saying, sirens are going off, the alarms are going off. In closet, there's a voice recorder recording what was happening, and I was talking to a voice recorder, and something this happens to me. Have proof, go look, there's proof, and so they went and stole my voice recorder. That's what happened, whole story about that. April Chandler finds it, says it's checked into evidence, but that was another lie. It looks like Matt Davis stole it, and why was it important? Because it proved I was shot during a home invasion, because burglar alarms were got off the attic. It was recorded on that voice recorder. The point here is, I had them sirens going off. That's why I had my shotgun. I was under a home invasion, burglar alarms are going off my attic over and over. They kept going off, But Rosie Rodriguez, here's what she wrote on her report, Buddy said he was locking up for the night and, getting ready to go to bed, knocked his gun over, shot himself. That's what she said, And I'm going, no, Buddy said he was under a home invasion. Burglar alarms are going off over and over and over. That's what Buddy said, and the nurse documented me, and and it was just more proof of this cop right here that turned out to be the lifelong friend of my ex-wife that had filed divorce on 5 days earlier. Now, when if I would have died and she would have ruled my murder an accident, which was the plan, I'm sure, then that ex-wife was going to get that extra $500,000, right? Actually, she was going to get a total about $650,000 plus this paid for in special home. Has $1 million underground home in the backyard where they have also parties and murder little girls that don't want to prostitute, right? And so it's very profitable is what it was. That was her lifelong friend she went to elementary school with. I said, just imagine if Charles Manson had the secret police to help them cover up murders, And these were the secret police that took 6 years to get identified, just unprecedented lawlessness. The first time in the history of America that a crime victim offered a reward to identify police, not a news story in the nation, It was in 2018 before a private investigator identified all 11 of the secret police. Just amazing results. We already knew that Rosie and April Chandler, because we could see their pictures. But then there was Tony Dickey, Greg Chatwell, Greg Nelson, Marty Bear, a crime scene investigator. Now imagine that. Imagine how many cases a crime scene investigator has worked on. Chad Simpson goes on to murder his wife. Mike Naylor dies in the line of duty, 2 months before Simpson. Mark Gilliam, Michael Glick, and then John Woodward is a sheriff from a whole other county. First guy shows up at my house. He's a sheriff from another county in Texas, And, how could that work? Now, how it works is he was in the underground home when I shot. Any of them could have been the shooter. Okay. And then the last one on this one, I did a Google search for the Manson Murders cut the phone lines, because I'm going, wow, that's the same thing happened to me. And I think this is a picture right here in California showing the telephone pole that they climbed up and cut the phone lines to Sharon Tate's house before they murdered them, And you'll just find all kinds of, you can Google it yourself, cut the phone lines here. They're showing the Manson Murders, showing the telephone pole. I mean, it was a big deal, showing pictures of Manson here, guy cutting phone lines right here, actually physically. And then of course, Manson, real famous with his Nazi symbol on his forehead. This is a crazy dude right here. I wonder what the killers that shot me look like. I wonder if they look as crazy as that. Anyway, that's Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.